Hey, everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG, the original Grognard, sitting back down here at the table to continue our playthrough of NATO Air Commander from Hollandspiel Games. My voice is probably going to be a little bit messed up, and I'm probably a little bit punchy because I've been sick the last couple days with the sore throat, but we're going to go ahead and play this through anyways because it's been a couple days. I just want to say, I want to take a look outside. It's raining here in Seattle. Take a look at that. Yeah, I know. Rain in Seattle. Big surprise. So, yeah, fall has definitely come here in Seattle, which is great and super because I hate the summertime. I'm definitely much more fall and winter person. So yeah, it's been basically like this for over a week now. I think we've had one day in the last week that we haven't had rain. But anyways, yes, I know a lot of other parts of the country are still sweltering under the heat of the summer, but not here in Seattle. So suck it, people. Anyways, all right, what are we looking at? I know, I'm being mean. Okay, we're stepping into turn 3. And I'd like to say, again, I'm doing much better this playthrough than I did in my first playthrough that I did offline. But then again, I'm playing the second scenario. Things are starting to kind of collapse. The Warsaw Pact forces are making advances. We'll see how well we can keep it going. There's also been some questions about the distribution of the numbers. And maybe you should just use a D10. I want to kind of get into, I don't want to call it the genius of using these cards, but it is what's the word I'm looking for? You know what? I don't even want to try to think of a big word. I'm not that healthy enough to be speaking grandiose terms. So the air intercept and ground intercept are kind of basically based off of a 0 through 9, so a D10. However, the cards for air intercept and ground defense are weighted towards the higher range. You're going to find more 9s, 8s, and 7s than you are 0s, 1s, and 2s. Part of this is because, well, it is an AI system. At least I should say. I think the reason for this is I don't know what the designers, Brad Smith. Yes, Brad Smith. What his thought process was, but I can make an assumption. The reason that they're kind of weighted towards the higher end is that this is an AI driven system, and you kind of do need to give the AI system a little bit of a leg up. Also, later in the game, a large part of this air intercept and ground defense are negated by the degradation or the increase, however you want to look at it, of the dead and OCA tracks, the destruction of enemy air defenses, and something aircraft. The tracks that represent how much of the enemy's air forces and how much of the enemy's air defenses you've managed to destroy. So I get that. All right, that's cool. Although it just seems I always pull the wrong numbers at the worst time. The attack resolve number, the number that's used to determine the combats between PAC and NATO forces, are 0 through 5. More weighted to the 2s and 3s. I think there's a couple 5s, there's a couple 0s, maybe 3 or 4 0s. So you can't really replicate that with the D10. So yeah, I kind of get that. It works. You need a smaller range of numbers for the ground attack than you could get from like a D10 or a D6 or something like that. Warpack reinforce is anywhere from 1 to 8, more weighted, or 1 to 6, more weighted towards the higher end, although obviously with these cards that I'm seeing here, they're not, but you're going to see more 4s and above than you are 3s or less, just because it's the only way that you can really ensure that the Warsaw Pact forces can keep going, even if it is a bit frustrating that, I got them down to 4, they're back up to 8 again. Damn it. And then the NATO reinforcements is anywhere from 1 to 9, and I haven't really checked it out yet, but I think it's just kind of a even mix of those numbers. So just a couple people have commented that it does seem like the cards are weighted because they are. And it goes towards using a single card to resolve what would basically be 3 or 4 different dice. And that also means you don't have to buy the dice to stick. You're just buying the deck of cards. Because, I mean, if it went off of dice rolls, it would probably be, a D10, a D4, a D10 and maybe a D6. I don't know. So you're reducing the number of dice that the game requires by putting everything on a card. And I kind of like that because honestly, I like most gamers, am superstitious about dice rolls. And when dice start to go bad, I throw them away. Even though logically I know that's not the truth. But we're not dealing with logic, are we? No, of course not. All right. So let's go ahead and step into turn 3. I just wanted to get that off my chest real quick. And my normal caveat that I give in most of my playthroughs when I remember it is that this is not a how-to-play video because I'm going to get things wrong. This is a, hey, look at the fat bastard sitting down playing the game. Let's see how much you can actually get right or not get right. But we're going to have a good time and we're going to kind of get an idea of how the game is played so you can make your own decision if it's something you want to invest in. All right, so there we go. Objective phase. I hate the objective because I know there's one really, really bad card in here that's coming. So we'll go ahead and draw, oops, not 3, but 2 objective cards. All right, we got West German I Corps counterattacks. North TAG requests 3 close air supports in Sector Alpha. Okay, I can do that. I'm really good. Yeah, I'm fine with doing that. 3 RPs, Warsaw Pack retreat in Sector Alpha. Failure, lose 2 RP. Oh, the big push. This is the one I didn't want. Sacker expects 5 successful close air support raids to be conducted this turn. All right, this isn't the worst one. This is probably the second to the most annoying one. Success, 3 RPs. 1 Warsaw Pack retreat in each of 2 sectors of your choice. 2 retreats total. Failure, lose 1 RP for each close air raid under 5 that does not score 1 hit. Yeah, that's the annoying one. We don't like that one. All right, so what's the first thing we're going to do? You know, let's get the stealth out of the way first, just because pretty much the stealth it does its own thing. So now part of me wants to put it on the dead track just so we can start pushing that PGM down, or not the PGM, start pushing the dead track or the OCA track down. But I need 5 close air support hits or 5 close air support. Can I do it? You know what? Let's go ahead and hold off on doing that. I do want to do something for OEW escort, my electronic warfare escort. So let's take a couple, I don't want to say crappy planes, but planes that I can afford to live without. Yeah, let's go with these 2. Put those 2. Those, I, again, do not like the coloring on these. Those are yellow. What are those? What are those? What nationality? Belgium. Belgium's got a lot of. That can't be Belgium. Blue U.S., tan U.K., gold Germany. What are they? Those might be gold. Well, let's take a look at what they are. It's an Alpha. Oh, Alpha Jet. So it's got to be German. Yeah, that's the Alpha Jet. So it's got to be German. And the 444s are F4Fs. All right, so we'll go ahead and put both of those on electronic early warning or electronic warfare, which will give me a temporary shift of the column, the OCA track to 1, so at least my air intercepts will be a little bit better. All right, so we need to hit North Syntag or North Tag, North Ag, North Thag, the thagometer. Let's see. So yeah, Alpha. Yes, 3 close air supports in Sector Alpha this turn. All right, so let's go ahead and take raid 1 and put that right there. Now, let's see. An A10 with its value of 7 can become a 14 with using precision-guided munitions. And we have 1 PGM left, or 1 PGM package left. Let's go ahead and use that. Oops, I'm not there yet. I'm sorry, I'm jumping too far ahead. Recon Phase. Come on, Devin, get your head in the game. Okay, Recon Phase. Oops. So it's air value of all recon missions resolved using the air intercept and will succeed on a 5 or less. So I want to go for decap. We'll go first recon of a decap. Air intercept of 10. Of course not. Of course not. All right. Oh, no recon. Now, up to air. Now, air planning phase. Well, that makes life easier. All right, so put the A-10s on primary. That'll give me a ground strike of 14, which will be 3 hits, which will be what I need for what the West German I Corps needs. So now we just need to get our planes through. So let's go ahead and take some F-15s. Air escort of 8. Even with the OCA track of 1, which would be a 9 or less. Now, I better throw something in there to support it. We got any... I don't want to throw Harriers because they got good ground strike. All right, let's go ahead and throw some F-16s. That's overkill, but we're going to do that anyways. Now, suppression of enemy air defenses is a ground strike. So let's go ahead and let's take my two Harriers. So that'll be 10 points, which should get it through for the most part. All right, now for the rest of my airs, actually, this is one of the few times I'm actually free to drop munitions where I want because I'm not really chasing too many of the objectives. So let's see. Let's take a look at our tracks. Linz is doing good. Riesenberg's probably going to fall. Nuremberg. Fulda's doing well. It's a 4 and 4, so we don't have to worry about them. Hanover 3 to 8. You know what? Let's go ahead and hit Linz because if we can keep the Soviets bottled up here on Foxtrot, that'll give me another reinforcement point. So let's do our second strike there. And let's see. Let's go ahead and take one A-10, which will give me 2 hits. And let's take a look at air. All right, so let's go ahead and throw some F-15s. And some F-16s for air escort. And my ground suppression. What are those 4.76s? Those are what? British Tornadoes? No, Jaguars. I'll take, those are German Jaguars. No, yeah, British Jaguars. So we'll take the Jaguar at 7. If we got a 3 someplace, yeah, we'll take those. And let's take one of our pilots and one of our German pilots and stick it on that mission. I want to save the U.S. pilot. Okay, so that's 2 missions. I need 3 more. I don't think I'm going to have the points to come up with 3 more, so I'm going to be losing some RPs there. But we do have 1 more A-10, so where's a good place for our A-10s to strike at? Not good there, because that'll only be 4 to 7, 5 to 8, 3 to 8. You know what? Let's go ahead and assign him to Fulda. Because that's, again, if we can keep the Russians at their starting box, that'll give us a replacement point. So let's go ahead and hit raid 3 there. We'll put the A-10 there, which will give us 2 hits. That's our air escort. Now these guys are in the repaired. I have to remember they're in the repaired box. I can't use them. So let's go ahead and use these 2 for air escort for 10. My suppression of enemy air defenses, C8. Yeah, now we're starting to run low. All right, let's go ahead and take those. I think that's an F-14. No, it's a Tornado. I told you I suck at air silhouettes. Now, the funny thing is, World War II silhouettes I'd be much better at. Modern day, not so good at. And that's what? Alpha? No. That's it's an F4F. All right, so we'll put both of those. That's an 8 on suppression. But you know what? Let's go ahead and assign one of my pilots to that one. Just so we can do a reroll. Now, great. I've got, yeah, I'm not going to get the 5 strikes off. Just not going to happen. Well, you know what? Let's go after So let's use our F-17, F-117, our stealth fighters, F-117s. Let's put them on a dead raid, destruction of enemy air defenses, and let's go ahead and put our pilot on there. I'll explain why I'm doing that in a bit. Now, I got 3 aircraft. Let's go. Let's try to suppress the enemy air. So it'll be a strike, which will be my last number. So let's go with that on the strike. Air intercept. This is going to be ugly. Air intercept of 6. And ground strike of 2. I doubt I'll be able to suppress the air defenses that way. But it could happen. I managed to pull it off last turn. All right, so we got, so I'm, and no way, whoops, that's not the one. Yeah, that is the one. Successful close air support raids. No, I've got 3. I could probably use the F-117 to get a 4th off and then maybe throw those guys into a 5th. But, honestly, the chances of this one getting through is slim to none. So I'd rather take my F-17, who's got a better chance of doing more long-term damage by hitting the dead track than of striking a track. All right, so what do we got? Air planning phase, raid result phase. All right, so let's just go ahead. Let's get the dead and OCA out of the way first, because what they affect on the track is immediate. So any changes to this track will have an effect on my follow-up raids. So let's go ahead and do the stealth bomber first. Now remember, stealth fighter or stealth bombers automatically get past air escort. All done, good, no problem. Now the C8, I draw a card, and if either the air intercept or ground defense is a 10, then it fails. Oh. Kind of almost wish I'd have done OCA first. All right, so it's a 0. The strike gets through with no problem. We have a strike value of 6, and that's what we're looking at because we're going after dead. So we are massively destroying enemy air defenses, and since the value is a 6, it's 1 hit for every 5 points. So 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, 16 through 19, so on and so forth. So we put 2 hits on the dead track, which is good because, like I said, this takes place right now. So air defenses are going to be 1 less because I've managed to suppress some of the air defense. Now, why did I put the pilot on there? Well, you got to remember, the pilot allows me to redraw a card resolution that I don't like. I already had all my F-117 shot down. Didn't want them to get shot down again. So let's just go ahead and pull them back and put them there. All right, OCA, air escort. We've got a 6 for my air intercept, but we got an air intercept track of 1. So basically, procedurally, it takes 1 away from the resolution card. So let's go air intercept. 9 minus 1 is an 8, which is higher than my 6. So they get intercepted. Raid fails. And plane damaged, our value is 31. We got 22, 30, and 8. So it's going to be plane 30 because it's closest to 31. 4 1s. Now let's go ahead and put it in the damaged pile. All right. So let's go on to the next mission. Let's go ahead and hit track 1. Alpha track. So we've got 6 and we've got 14 on air escort. So even with the OCA track at -1, let's go ahead and pull the card. It is a 9 minus 1 from the OCA track, which is an 8, which is less than the 14 that I have. So the air intercept number is successful. The ground intercept is a 10. So ground intercept 0. So 0 is less than 10. So the strike gets through. The A-10s are having a field day blasting the Soviets in Bremen. Their ground attack value is a 7, but I've got precision guided munitions, which doubles it to a 14, which is going to be 3 hits in support of The West Germans up just outside of Bremen, which is good because that also succeeds I Corps' request of 3 air supports hitting Sector Alpha. So this one's going to succeed. This one will not. All right. So that was successful. Let's go ahead and pull these guys down. I'm not sure procedurally when I'm supposed to pull those down, but I'm just pulling them down now just for convenience of me. Okay. So the second strike is happening in Fulda, in the Fulda Gap Shooting Gallery, as we used to call it. I say we as in Cold War veterans. I was never in Germany. I was Pacific War. I used to play tag with Soviet submarines and get buzzed by Soviet Tupolev bombers on a quite regular basis. So anyways, so we got A-10s screaming in there. Our air escort is a 13. Your math is hard. So 13, we got to remember, OCA track is -1 on the card draw. Oh, shuffle. Shuffle all discards in the deck. This card counts as no event and all its resolution events are 0. Okay, so it was a 0 event, which means my air escort got through no problem. And now we get to shuffle all the cards back in together. So that's, well, since I've got this, let's go ahead and just take a look at kind of what the breakdown of some of the numbers is. So you can definitely see the air escort and ground escort are definitely weighted higher. And then there's the one shuffle mark with a lot of 9s and 10s. So, you know, it is what it is. Shuffle the cards. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Should probably get some sleeves for this, but not one for sleeving my cards very often. All right, grab the deck. All right, so now we have the ground defense on raid 2 on the Fulda Gap area. And we're looking at, I've got a pilot there, so even if it goes sideways, I can, we got 10. So 10, and we look at the dead track as a -1, so it's going to be -1 on the resolution. Resolution ground defense is an 8, -1 is a 7, which is lower than my ground attack of 11. So I succeed in suppressing the enemy air defenses. So the A-10s go screaming through, and I actually don't even have to use my pilot. So remember, pilot allows you to discard a card and redraw one if you don't like the result. No precision guide munitions on it, so it's a ground attack of 7, which turns into being 2 hits. So we give 2 ground hits in support of the Fulda Gap. We don't like that. My airstrikes and I'm doing much, much better than I did the first time I played. This is the game on with the training wheels on, the first scenario. You want a bit more of a challenge, you play the second one, and you want to get your face stomped in, play the third mission. Which I will give a shot at one of these days. All right, so third mission is no, that was the second mission. Oops. Raid 2 was down here with Linz. Doesn't change anything other than just where the location was. And so raid 3 is going to Fulda Gap. Right, there we go. Let's make sure we get things right. Again, we got A-10s screaming in. Airstrike value of 10. This should get through because of the OCA track. 9 -1 is an 8, which is less than my 10 air defense. The air escort gets through. The ground strike, the SIAD is a, let's make sure I'm doing that right. SIAD, yeah, is ground defense, so that's going to be a 7. But again, got to remember the dead track, so -1 on the card pull. 5 -1. You know, this was focusing earlier just fine. I don't know what happened. So ground defense of 5. -1 is a 4, which is less than my C8 of 7. So it gets through, and I don't even have to use my pilot. Yay! So the A-10 gets through. 7 ground attack value is going to be 2 hits. So we're going to be giving 2 hits in support of our troops in Fulda. And I'm sure the 11 divisions that the Soviets have poured through there are very, very pissed that they haven't made any headway at all. And I'm okay with that. So let's just go ahead and pull those guys off. Pull my A-10s off. All right, so that's air raid resolution phase. Now we got ground combat phase. Draw a card for each thrust line. So, all right, so let's just go ahead and zoom in. What are we looking at? Brimhaven has got a value of, primary mission. Yeah, primary mission. I always keep forgetting that. Divide to okay, lose RPs for failed objectives. Well, the big push failed. Lose 1 for each close air support raid under 5 that does not score hit. We only had 3 that scored hits, so we lose 2 off of our RP. And hey, look at that! You actually, it's like the designer knew you were going to lose RP. So go to the negative side, I'm -2. However, that's counter-affected by the success of the West German I Corps getting 3 resource points. So we bring that back up to a +1. And since it was a success, we will have an event for that. So let's just go ahead and stick this down here with the event card. I guess it really doesn't matter. I think procedurally it says just hold it off to the side. All right, so let's take a look at ground attacks. So what have we got there? We've got Brimhaven with 2 cohesion plus the 3 from the close airstrikes versus the 8 Warsaw Pact cohesion. So I'm looking at a 5 plus ground resolution of 2, which is 7, which is less than 8. So doesn't matter. They get squishified. Forces are smacked around, and they continue. The Soviet forces. Looks like they're about ready to move into the lowlands. They've captured the port cities. They're along the north coast and getting ready to move into Amsterdam. Good thing I've got an 8 cohesion there. All right, so what do we got next? We got Bravo, which is, let's see if we can try to focus a 3 to an 8. So 3 ground, 4, 5 is less than an 8. They're eliminated, and they move on. Not good. Kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. Fulda Gap. Here we go. Fulda, 4, 5, 6. Attack resolve 0 versus the Warsaw Pact of 4. I'm higher, but not more than double. So the Soviets will just lose 1 cohesion, which is good. Because again, remember, if we can keep the Soviets in their starting box, that gives us a resource point. And I can just imagine how, the Soviets have always vaunted that the Fulda Gap would be the big breakthrough. So yeah, and they probably haven't advanced. Well, they haven't even captured Fulda yet. So yeah. big ass shooting gallery. All right, Nuremberg. 3 plus 2 is a 5, which is a failure. So the Soviets continue their advance. They capture Landshut, which gives them a victory point. And then down here at the Hofgap, at least I think that's the Hofgap. Hofgap might be further south. Here at Linz, we got 4. Give us something good. 4, 5, 6. Yes, attack resolve 6 versus their 5. So the NATO forces are able to hold there, and the Warsaw Pact loses a cohesion because they lost. Very good. These guys are holding on a lot tighter than I thought they would. I kind of figured they'd collapse badly by this point because it's like, they don't have very much cohesion down there. And it's not like the Soviets have got very far to go. It's only like, 40 kilometers to the Austria border. Ground combat phase. All right. Completed objective. Completed objectives now result in Warsaw Pact receipts resolved as above in NATO more than double Warsaw Pact as indicated on the card. All right, so what do we got? We got this succeeded because this is the airstrike that succeeded. 1 Warsaw Pact retreat in Sector Alpha, which is actually pretty good because if you remember, they blew me out. But even though I took horrendous casualties up there, my air raids were successful enough that it managed to push the Warsaw Pact out of Bremerhaven back into Bremen. The problem is it's now replaced with a Cohesion 1 unit. So it is at best a tenuous, thin line that is holding the Soviets at bay and will probably fall next turn. Okay, so that was the only successful objective that resulted in Warsaw Pact retreats. Now we have reinforcements. Resolve reveal reinforcements for Warsaw Pact, subtracting his hits inflicted by FOFA missions. Yeah, like I've ever been able to pull off a FOFA mission. Flip over. Yep. All right, so basically we're going to be looking at the reinforcement cards and adding that to the cohesion. Bremen, it really doesn't matter because they're maxed out. They would have gotten 3. Castle, it doesn't really matter. They would have gotten 4. Fulda Gap. They get a 3, so they're bumped up to a 6. Delta, just outside Nuremberg, they're already maxed at 8, would have gotten another 4. Landshut, they're at 7. Warsaw Pact is 3, so that maxes them out at 8. And down here at poor Linz, Warsaw Pact forces are to 4, and they get a 2. They bump up to a 6. They may break through next turn. They just may break through. Okay, what do we got? Random events phase, draw and resolve using the... Oh, now I got to do the NATO reinforcements. NATO gets a grand total of 5. All right, so let's look at where could we put it. Munich is in trouble. That's a resource center and a 3 victory pointer. Nothing really along Delta. Frankfurt is still... We're still good here. I don't think I really need to put any reinforcements. Well, I might. Here. Yeah, Amsterdam's already got 8 reinforcements. We need to jack up Bonn a little bit. So we'll go ahead and put all 5 into Bonn, which gives us a 7. So that means next turn I'll only have to put 1 reinforcement point into them, and then the rest into wherever really needs the most pertinent attention. Resource point phase. Warsaw, 1 point for each Warsaw Pact still in their starting box. We've got 2 at Fulda Gap and outside Linz. So that gives us 2 points. 1, 2. Every 3 victory point city still under my control. There's 4 of them. Munich, Frankfurt, Bonn, Amsterdam. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4. Dead track maxed out. OCA track maxed out. Neither one of them are maxed out. So 7 points. That's actually pretty good. You know what? I'm going to spend 6 of those. I think it's 6. Yeah, 6 of those to get 2 PGMs. PGM's really been helping me out. Because, I mean, I throw a PGM on a A10, and it turns it from a 7 to a 14. So that's actually pretty damn good. So that's the difference between 2 hits inflicted and 3 hits inflicted. So we like the precision guided munitions. I got plenty of pilots. I got 1 point left. Let's go ahead and move the Harriers from the repaired back to active duty. We like the Harriers for their ground strike. And that's it for RPs. Intern phase, air mission delay step. Yep, OEW step. Okay, so any units that were on OEW, I go ahead and return those. And that temporary modifier goes away. And then dead OCA recovery track. We see if the Warsaw Pact manages to get any forces. I don't need to pull one for the OCA because it's already at minimum, but it could happen on the dead track if I roll an air intercept even. Nope, air intercept. They do not get any reinforcements. So the Soviets have, I don't know where all their surface-to-air assets are at, but we must be blowing through them, and they're not able to get new ones up front. Nuclear escalation step. It is not over 20 victory points, so we're not at the nuclear escalation step yet. And victory point step, the Warsaw Pact gets an extra victory point for every unit that they have in my furthermost box. At least in turns 1 through 6, I think it is. And that's it. Yeah. So what I forgot to do is I forgot to refill reinforcements. Again, I'm not really sure what the design reason for this is. I'm sure there is one. I just don't know what it is. All right. Well, that takes us into turn 4. I think that's a good play. I am actually feeling a lot more confident about this playthrough than I am the last time I played it. But then again, like I said, I'm playing this is the beginner scenario. This is the scenario I should have started off on, playthrough the first time, and then shown you the playthrough of the second scenario. Feeling pretty confident about it so far. Well, we'll just have to continue to play, see what happens. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll see everybody next time. See ya!